Hi, everybody. Welcome back to English Topics. My name is Alicia, and I'm here with
Michael. Hello.
Today, we're going to be talking about things that were cool in the aughts. The aughts refers to from the year 2000 to the year 2010. So let's discuss the things that we thought were cool in this period of time. My first item is boy bands. Boy bands. As a junior high school student during the early 2000s to mid 2000-ish years, I was very loyal to one boy band in particular. If you recall, during this period of time in America, there were a few boy bands. There was NSYNC, there were the Backstreet Boys. My personal favorite was Hanson. I really had like my walls just covered in Hanson posters. That was a big thing for me. Did boy bands factor into your adolescence at all?
Yes and no. Again, I had 3 older brothers to punch me and say, hey, don't listen to boy bands. Boy bands are for losers. Don't be a loser. So I never got into it, but I definitely knew that was a thing. You would see the binders in school and they would, like they're really shiny, laminated, and it'd be, 98 degrees, this and that. So speaking of music, I think this one's pretty good, is Napster. And this was right before 2000. It started, I think, 99 and got in a lot of trouble. The owner got in a lot of trouble. It's when that peer-to-peer sharing, they call it, right? So peers, and you share it. So I send you a file directly. That was the first time that came out. So I remember a lot of people didn't think about the moral implications. Is this illegal? Is this bad? Is this, the internet was first, starting to bubble up and become really popular. So I remember my relatives and friends, everyone did it until all of a sudden they said, whoa, you're stealing music, don't do it. There was a couple people who got arrested, fined millions of dollars and stuff. So they started to die out and the new ones came. So for me, I think it was like after Napster's Kazaa and LimeWire, and there's all these different programs and a million. Basically, it was before torrenting, all that.
Yeah, that's a great point though, because those sorts of peer-to-peer applications really did change media. That's huge. Good one. I like that topic. Wow. Okay, nice one. Nice one. I guess I'll go on to the next one. For me, this is also media related. This is something I think probably most teens in our generation used at some point in time. It is instant messenger. Instant messenger. I was partial, meaning I liked to use AOL Instant Messenger, AIM. I also had MSN Instant Messenger. Did you use an instant messaging service?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
AIM. I definitely used AIM,
Yeah. So this was before, maybe I think cell phones were becoming more and more common, but at least in my case, I didn't get a cell phone, a mobile phone for my own personal use until high school-ish, maybe. I don't remember, till maybe 17 or so. I didn't need one, really. But to talk to, who did I talk to? To talk to my friends, I suppose. I don't know. I used Instant Messenger to talk to people in other parts of the world. Like I would have a pen pal in a different country, or I remember I exchanged music a lot with a guy who lived in a different part of the United States. I don't remember where he was from. It's true. This is a true story. He sent me Muse. I remember that guy. I liked it.
Secretly a 40-year-old guy in his basement.
Probably.
Electronic and hip-hop acceptance. So for me, I remember for the longest time, we made fun of this stuff. We would say, there was a stupid phrase that everyone said. You'd say, rap is only 1 letter away from crap. That's how you know it's bad. Or like the electronic music, anybody can make that music because it's just a computer. There's no skill. Man, we would all say that kind of stuff, or a lot of kids did. And right around then, that's when people slowly, one by one, started to convert, and it became more and more mainstream to where a lot of the famous artists, it just became, like everyone loved it. I think by the end of the 2000s, it was anybody and everybody, any demographic loved electronic and hip hop. It became a very popular thing.
Yeah, maybe so. Hip hop got really really gained momentum there in like early 2000s, mid 2000s, didn't it? Because up until then it was kind of like sweet pop almost, or just like a rock music was really popular. But yeah, electronic and grunge too. Grunge was a thing, like Nirvana. Nirvana was big in the 90s, but then they became, or no, late 80s maybe. When was Nirvana popular?
Yeah, it was 90s, but I don't remember exactly. I mean, he was gone by the end of the 90s.
So so like rock was really popular. I feel like rock was very, very mainstream. Country as well, country western was big. But I think, yeah, you're right. Hip hop really gained a lot of momentum there, late 90s, early 2000s or so, and electronic too.
True.
Okay, my next item is Harry Potter. It is Harry Potter. Harry Potter finished in the late 2000s. Harry Potter was a huge, huge series, and I think it was really, really important. Not even so much because of the story. Of course, the story is widely known around the world by this point in time. But I think it was really important because I think it got people reading. Young people, adolescents, older people. It was one of those stories that could be enjoyed by anybody, any age group. Um, I was super into Harry Potter. I loved reading fantasy books and it at any rate. But Harry Potter, I think, was yeah, it was really, really, it was really popular. It was really fun. It was, it was one of those things that kids could enjoy and parents didn't have to worry about. I don't think it wasn't like the kids were reading something scandalous or whatever. It was just like this sort of heartwarming fantasy story about a couple kids growing up together in this strange situation. Did you ever read Harry Potter?
Yeah, I read a little bit of it. I remember mainly watching the movies, but I remember two things about that. I think it's funny you said it's heartwarming. I think most people agree with that, but I remember there was a small group of people who protested and said it celebrated witchcraft and it's not religious and a good Christian shouldn't read Harry Potter. And then the second thing is I remember that it was like number one. I don't know exactly. Don't quote me on this, but I remember it was really high for adults on like Amazon.com and children. It was like a bestseller for both adults and children, and that was kind of a first. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, of course, the movies came out, and that was a different sort of popularity that happened because of the movies. But I think having a series of books that could captivate, like that got such a huge audience interested, I don't it's possible maybe there's another series or another book that's, that had a similar influence. But again, going back to your point about the internet, I think because of the internet and because of that exchange of information, Harry Potter had just the perfect timing and the perfect story for it to just spread like wildfire, meaning it spread so quickly and with such like ferocity that it was like a super story, right? So I think Harry Potter was a really, really big part of that time period. Like a little bit from the end of the 90s, yes, but I think it was huge in the early 2000s.
Yeah, absolutely. MySpace,
Oh my god.
MySpace. That's for sure. This seems like a relic, something so old now because websites come and go. But yeah, MySpace. MySpace was for those of you who don't know, you probably do. It was Facebook before Facebook,
Mhm.
and before MySpace was something a little before my time, but I guess called like Friendster.
Yeah.
And there's all these different websites that just different social media. But one thing I noticed that was different about MySpace versus Facebook is there's unsaid internet social etiquette with Facebook. You didn't add strangers on Facebook. Some people do, it depends on the country, blah, blah, blah. But typically it was only your close friends, right? Whereas MySpace, I remember meeting just strangers. You just go on and you see a girl that's cute and you add her and you say, hey, what's up? I like your pictures. Do you want to meet? And it was kind of like a chat room thing. It was a weird in between until it became um, where more of a personal thing, right?
Right.
My Facebook wall or whatever versus.
Right. Well, Facebook initially started out of it was from college actually. When you went to college, a lot of colleges would have a physical book called a Facebook, to my understanding, and
Mm,
it was like a yearbook, but like before you started the year, so you could see who your classmates were. I think that was what the deal was.
mm,
And initially when Facebook started, you had to have a university email address in order to join Facebook. So at first it was only college students who could participate in Facebook. And then it became open to the public. And now of course Facebook is popular all over the world. Okay, so those are a few things that we thought were cool in the aughts from the year 2000 to 2010. What was cool for you in your country? I'm really actually kind of curious to hear. I mean, these are things that were big in America, but I have no idea of well, not no idea, but I have very little concept of what was interesting in other countries at this time in history. So please share if you have something that you thought was really, really outstanding from this time. That's all for us today. Thanks very much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.